Hi everyone, this is Lina from Trading Edge, and in this video I would like to share the first results of the back testing that I am doing on the solar eclipse cycle. And what I mean by that is the testing of the back testing. In my previous video I shared with you the back testing that I have done of the solar eclipse cycle, and I said that I'm going to put it to the test now this year to see if this is tradable, if all of those findings are tradable, and basically what that means is if they're accurate. So these are the results here. When I have back tested, there are three different types of metrics that I have used to back test the solar eclipse cycle. Metric type 1 is when I have counted the first 28 days after the solar eclipse. So I take the day of the solar eclipse into consideration, and then I count 28 days after that. So let me just show you this table. Right, so this is what the table looks like. I have shared it with you before, and this metric is the following. It assumes that the lunar eclipse is just as equal as any other full moon, that it's not a special cycle. So therefore, I begin with the solar eclipse and I count 28 days. I keep laying out those closing candles, and when I reach a lunar eclipse I just carry on. I don't stop before the lunar eclipse, right? So that is the assumption of this metric, is that the lunar eclipse is equal to the solar eclipse. And I count 3 days before the solar eclipse. I back tested those, and then the solar eclipse day, and then 3 days after. So that's metric number 1. And this is what I have. This is the metric for number 1, for metric number 1, right? Where you see it says 28 days. So these are the 3 days before the solar eclipse, and then there are no days here because it coincides with this one. Okay, so the second metric that I have used is removing that assumption that the lunar eclipses are equal to the solar eclipses, and now changing that to a different assumption that the solar eclipses are different and they deserve to be separated, that the lunar eclipses, I beg your pardon, the lunar eclipses are different and they have to be separated. They shouldn't be in the same table where the normal full moons are. So this is what that table looks like. It's the same data, but when I reach the end of a solar eclipse cycle, what it means by the end, when I reach the lunar eclipse after that, I don't lay it out here. I don't lay it out after that date. I go all the way down. As you can see, these long set of dates are other solar eclipses that happen to be very long. So all the lunar eclipses are separated on a different row, and then they're back tested separately. Right, so this is the second metric that I have used, and again what I do, I count the green candles on every single line, starting from the solar eclipse, and then day 1 after the solar eclipse, day 2 after the solar eclipse, day 3, etc., etc. And this time in this metric is not the first 28 days, but it's all the way until the end of the longest solar eclipse so far in the life of Bitcoin. So as you can see, some of them are very, very long before a lunar eclipse takes place after that. So Bitcoin's life begins with this solar eclipse here. In the first solar eclipse in Bitcoin's life that we have data for is the one beginning on 16th of January 2010, and from there on it is followed by a lunar eclipse. This is the lunar eclipse here. That happens to be a very long length cycle, and then that's the first lunar eclipse here on the 26th of June, And that's how they're laid out in this table. And then the next solar eclipse begin in the next column, and then I wait until the next lunar eclipse appears. So after a solar eclipse happens, all the dates after that belong to that solar eclipse until we arrive at the next lunar eclipse. And that's the next lunar eclipse here, laid out here. I explained those metrics in the previous video, but they're a bit complex to people who've never done that kind of work, so that's why I'm going over them again. So I've done the same calculations, okay, counting green candles, counting red candles, and obtaining percentages. And then I have copied and pasted those results in my April forecast. So these are the results here that you see. And then I've also separated the total solar eclipse. I've backtested the total solar eclipse separately because this April, tomorrow, we're going to have a total solar eclipse, so I want to have specific data for this cycle as well, how it will perform. So that is why we have three sets of metrics here. And the first column, this column here, is assessing the accuracy of the short one, where there were only 28 days after that, and where the lunar eclipses were all bunked up there together alongside the other full moons. And this this column here is assessing the accuracy of those long ones that I just showed you in table 7, those cycles here where they can be very, very long, where these are the isolated cycles where the lunar eclipses are isolated in these two columns, and the last three columns are the total eclipses only extracted and back tested, and this last column is assessing them. So these are the results where the total eclipses so far are producing 100% accuracy. Every single candle so far has panned exactly the same. They predicted a red candle for the 5th of April, boom, red candle. Green candle for the 6th of April, we got green candle. Green candle for the 7th of April, we got green candle, and they're predicting a red candle for tomorrow, for the 8th of April. The long solar eclipse cycle again is performing with exceptional accuracy. They predicted the green candle for the 1st of April, that was wrong, and they predicted the green candle for the 5th of April, and that was wrong. Apart from that, everything else is exactly correct. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 correct against 2 wrong. What is the percentage of that? 5 out of 7. 71% accuracy so far, not bad for the first few days. Again, this one is predicting a red candle for tomorrow, 58% against 42%. Because different dates are involved in those calculations, different number of dates. The dates that are involved in the total solar eclipse are also involved in those two columns as well. But some of the dates, the dates in the solar eclipse, in the total solar eclipse, are only here in this column, whereas here there is a mixture. All of the solar eclipses are investigated in these two columns here, right? So that's why the percentage is more towards 50-50, because if you know that rule from statistics is that the more data you have, then the likelihood is always more towards the center of the statistical curve, right? So that is why, because here the total solar eclipse is isolating small amount of data, that's why the figures are more extreme. So it all makes perfect sense, and for that reason here I'm including the predictions, for example, that say 53%, 52%. I'm including all of those predictions because there is so much more data involved that it's natural that it will be gravitating towards the center, which is the 50-50 ratio. And for that reason, I'm including that low percentage of probability. Otherwise, I wouldn't be including it if I had only isolated data there. Right, and this cycle here, which includes which assumes that the lunar eclipses are just normal full moons, is the only one that is performing so far inaccurate. So we got two wrong predictions and one correct prediction from that cycle. Again, suggesting that the lunar eclipse is an important cycle and it has to be isolated. It's not equal to a normal full moon. At the moment, we have very small amount of tested results, so it's too soon to be making these big statements, but I'm just saying it is suggesting that, so it's kind of driving us to think in that direction. And I will continue keeping an eye on them. If this cycle happens to continue to be so significant for April, and then I'll continue testing the back-tested results in May, in June, and I showed you in this table where the long solar eclipses are, and this here, the solar eclipse again is a very long cycle. Look at that. These go all the way to the next lunar eclipse. So once we pass April, this carries on for May, carries on for June, and then we arrive in July. Look what is going on in July. It's total dumping. Most of the candles are red candles. So it's quite an exciting research, and it has the potential to make some very big discoveries, and at the moment it's just in a testing stage. I don't recommend anyone to be trading these figures. However, I did post them on Twitter, and I will also post these figures on the community section. We have the right to post pictures there. I will post that table so you can be back testing it by yourself and keeping an eye on them. And we see how it goes. It's looking very positive and very encouraging for the moment, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. Goodbye.